Today's ESPN FC Transfer Rater begins with someone who's no stranger to the Transfer Rater, Gareth Bale. Mark Ogden, will he stay at Spurs?
I think it's unlikely. I think the fact that he's got such a big contract at Real Madrid, I think that, the accepted figure that he's on £600,000 a week at Real, I don't think Tottenham are paying all of that right now. I'm pretty sure they're not. But if he was to leave Real Madrid, then somebody's going to have to pay it or pay him a decent salary. And I'm not quite sure he's done enough this season to merit a permanent move. Yes, he's had a good couple of weeks in the last few weeks. He scored a hat-trick at the weekend. But I'm not quite sure if you're Tottenham, with a new manager coming in, whether you want to spend a lot of your summer budget on a player who's, his fitness record this year has been checkered. It's not been great. I just think either Gareth Bale or Real Madrid are going to have to drop their financial demands an awful lot for that move to happen.
600 grand a week, but is he happy? That's the question. Sam Johnstone, West Brom going down to Manchester United. Now, you might have a little bit of an insight into this one. What do you say?
Yeah, well, Sam Johnstone has been one of the stars of the Premier League for West Brom this year. I think if you look at the stats, he's made more saves than any other goalkeeper, and people might rightly say, well, if he plays for West Brom, he's going to have to make a lot more saves. But he's made the saves, and there's quite a bit of interest in him because they're going to get relegated. He's got a year left on his contract. He'd be relatively cheap for a proven Premier League goalkeeper, around about £18 million. So I think Man United realised that they're probably going to lose one of their keepers this year in Dean Henderson or David De Gea, and the smart money would be on David De Gea. So they need a proven goalkeeper to provide competition for Dean Henderson. So, Sam Johnstone left United for West Brom in 2018. He'd been there quite a while. United never got a game, but I think United see him as a real viable option to challenge Henderson. But they have got some competition. They've got competition from West Ham and Tottenham. Leeds as well are also interested, I'm told. And I think Johnstone wants to play. He's played this season for West Brom. He wants to play every week. And I think going to United would be difficult for him to claim that first team jersey straight away. I think if you go to West Ham, he'd probably play most weeks. Tottenham, he'd probably fancy his chances at some point of moving Hugo Lloris, depending on who the manager is. So I think United are kind of, they're not in front of the race in this one for Sam Johnstone, but there's a real interest there because United need to address their goalkeeping situation. They want to make sure they have two strong, two quality goalkeepers next season, and if De Gea get goals, they're going to have to address that situation.
Jadon Sancho is in the Transfer Rater quite often. He's in the newspapers, the speculation about his future pretty regularly. Do you think he leaves Borussia Dortmund?
Yeah, I think this time around, the last two summers, Sancho's been linked with a move back to England, back to Man United, or to Man United. And I think on both occasions that the price has been too high for United to consider it. And I don't think Sancho has actually pushed to make the move. I think he's quite happy at Dortmund. He's got into the England squad by playing there, played Champions League. But I think this time around, I think Dortmund probably, especially if they miss out on the Champions League, they will need to sell a player to bring some money in. And if they keep Erling Haaland as they say they will do, then Sancho is the most obvious player they're going to sell. So he's a player that United have looked at for a long time. They need to find somebody for the right side of their attacking midfield, and I think he ticks the box. He's had an up and down season in Germany this year. Not as good as he had in recent years, but he still played well for Dortmund and made a big contribution. So I think it's now the time for him to move back to England. I think the move to United will be a good one this year. So I think Sancho to United is a deal that I can see happening.
Okay, let's stick with Manchester United. And Raphael Varane is a player just turned 28 last month. He's been linked with the club. Could he do something for Man United, similar to what Ruben Diaz did for Manchester City, and really shore up the back division?
It's an interesting one, Raphael Varane, because when he signed for Real Madrid back under Jose Mourinho, I think it was maybe 2012, 2013, he was a player that United thought they had. I think Sir Alex Ferguson thought he had a deal done for him, and Mourinho beat him to it. So there's been a connection there for a long time. But I do wonder with Varane whether you're actually getting the Real Madrid Varane when you sign him. I think when Sergio Ramos plays alongside Varane is outstanding. But when Ramos isn't there, I'm not quite sure he's the same defender. Now people will say, yeah, well, he won the World Cup with France, but France had a lot of great players in the squad to win that World Cup. So if I'm Man United looking at Raphael Varane, yes, he's got a great CV, won lots of trophies, but if you were getting him with Sergio Ramos, then it's a different story. I think with United, they maybe want to find the next up-and-coming Raphael Varane rather than the guy that's 28, 29 next year. I wouldn't be convinced about Varane. Look at Man City, like you say, Ruben Diaz, early 20s, they've got him for the next 10 years. Raphael Varane, 3 or 4 years, and you've got to find another one. So I'm not sure this is a deal that will happen. I think that his wages will be too high. I'm not sure he's the guy that they want to bring alongside Harry Maguire. I think they'll look for a younger option than Raphael Varane.
Memphis Depay has been linked with Barcelona. Could you see that happening?
I can see that happening because, Ronald Koeman, the Barcelona coach, has worked with Depay before with Holland, and I think he rates him as a player. I remember Memphis Depay from his time at Man United. It was a big disappointment. He failed to deliver. He came with a big reputation. He came with a lot of confidence as well, and he just didn't hit it off. And maybe he was too young at the time, but he's gone to Lyon. He's made himself, a big figure in Ligue 1 with Lyon. He's had a great time there, but it's still a big step from Lyon to Barcelona. And especially if, you're playing with the likes of Antoine Griezmann, Lionel Messi, you've got to be able to cut it at the very highest level. And I'm not sure that Depay has that in him to do it, but I think it'd be a free transfer this summer. I think obviously makes sense for Barcelona in that respect. So I can see it happening because the Ronald Koeman factor, the fact that it wouldn't cost a lot of money. But whether it's actually the solution that Barcelona need, I'm not too sure.
Chelsea and Manchester City, both linked with Robert Lewandowski. He's 32 years old. Both of those clubs have the same thing in common. Neither right now are really playing with a centre forward. Aguero and Gabriel Jesus, not really the first choice. And at Chelsea, they've given Kai Havertz more of a chance than the likes of Giroud and Tammy Abraham. So which of those two is best suited for Lewandowski? Because he'd be a smash hit wherever he goes, surely.
Well, Lewandowski knows Pep Guardiola from his time at Bayern Munich, so it would be a good fit at the Etihad. I think he'd be a fantastic replacement for Aguero, and certainly on a short-term basis. I don't think you're buying Lewandowski as a long-term solution. But Chelsea as well, Chelsea, I think they've got probably better attacking options than City right now, but a striker has always been key to their successes over the years. With Didier Drogba, Diego Costa, and I think somebody like Lewandowski would be a perfect fit for that model. But will Bayern Munich sell? Bayern Munich, as we saw this season, when Lewandowski was injured in the Champions League quarter-final against PSG, they lost. He's a big part of their game plan. So if Bayern lose Lewandowski, I'd be very surprised unless they've got something up their sleeve, unless they've got, Erling Haaland lined up or something like that. I'm not too sure. But for me, Lewandowski leaving Bayern, I find it hard to see this summer.
6 today in the Transfer Rater. Don't say we're not good to you.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.